Alright, so I was watching this shit, and it feels like it's crazy how I can relate to something, even though like I was watching this bar stuff and you talk about kids and stuff, and like he's easily like 20 years older than me, easy. But there seems to be this thing where like technology progressed to a point where the outside was offensive. Because I remember a time when like I used to be outside playing with my friends and my mum would call me, and that's lost. The neighbourhood mum calling, like whoa, like like that's gone. And then you would get to the front door, you'd be like, man, give me 5 minutes, come on, like we're playing a game or something. That's gone. I don't hear that anymore. I don't hear, even from my own street, of kids fighting to not go in. They're like, oh, you want me to come in? Like, oh, cool, man, I get to play Xbox. It's crazy, man. But another thing is, it makes me like, I don't like people, right? I can't stand cunts. But when I see like kids, because I worked in this shop, and this kid, I can't remember what his name, like Lane or something, or what's that Australian tennis player's name? I can't remember. Lance up? No, that's not right. But he used to come in, and he used to always come in first before his mum, because he would run everywhere. And before his mum would come in, he would go to the fridge and he would pick out a juice and he would go, Mum, I want this. He wouldn't say, Mum, can I have this? He would say, I want this. I'm like, you little shit. And then she would say, alright, hold on, let me look at it. And then she would say no. And then he would like take out the juice and then take out another juice. And then he'd be like, Mum, can I have this? And she would eventually, she would just cave. She would just cave. And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I can see it. I can see it happening. Even though I can't say shit when I'm behind the counter, that little guy, I'm thinking, you're going to be that little turd that gets his driving license at like 16, 17 or whatever, and drives this fucking arsehole car that's got an exhaust on it way too loud. You know when you're like, you think like a fucking Porsche is passing you, and it's like, I don't know, a fucking Peugeot or something. Like, like fuck, I can see it. I can see it happening. I'm like, give that little cunt 10 years, and that motherfucker. And every single time I saw this little guy, I was like, I think he was like 4 or 5, but she would always cave to him, and he was always running ahead of her and like out of control all the fucking time. And I'm like, you have no control over that kid. That little kid is going to be one of these cunts that gets into fights at the pub. As soon as he turns 18, lines of coke, no bed, absolute no bed. Anyway, and that's what brought me back to like what I was thinking about myself is, I'm not the greatest guy on earth. I've had problems and like mental issues out the wazoo, but it brought me back to a point in my life. And I remember this is one of the most vivid memories in my life. And I remember I was maybe 5 or 6, the same age as this kid roughly, and I was outside the front garden. And outside of our house there was 4 windows for the main living room, and you could see out into the front garden. And I was outside, and my mum had just given me a packet of crisps. So I'd eat the packet of crisps, like, no, life is good. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm loving this shit, man. Tasty. And then I finished the packet of crisps, and then I go up to the front window of the living room, and I'm like, Mum, can I get another packet of crisps? And she goes, no. Like, I gave you one, dinner's coming. And I go, Mum, give me a fucking packet of crisps. And my dad stands up like the speed of light. This is why it's so ingrained in my brain is, before all this fitness shit kicked in, your dad doesn't run, okay? Nobody's seen their dad run. This is not normal, okay? Your dad goes to the pub or like sits in the living room. Nobody should see the dad run. And I remember thinking, like, because they stood up so fast, and I was like, fuck. Because he goes like, boom, stands up, gets to the living room door, and immediately in my head I feel this like lightning bolt go from like the top of my forehead right down to my nuts. As like a 6-year-old, I'm like, I am fucked. Like, I've done something wrong here. I fucked it. So I immediately try to like run away, and I get to the end of the path at the end of our house, and my dad gets to the front door and he goes, "Come here," and I was like, I'm already bawling at this time, like I'm trying to do the kid works, you know, my little legs, "Daddy," and then he's like, "Come here," and I goes, "No, like I don't want to come here. I'm in trouble," and then he says, "Come here." And I says, "No, Daddy, you're gonna hit, smack me or whatever." And he goes, "I'm not gonna hit. I'm gonna smack you. Come here." And it was like, okay. So I walk up to him, and he goes, "Whap!" Smacks me right on the ass, and I'm like, "Daddy, like you said you wouldn't like hit me or whatever, like spank me." And he goes, "I didn't spank you because you swore. I spanked you because you didn't come here the first time I told you to." And then right there, that was the time I learned about like it's not right, like politics, semantics, like intention of thought. I was like, God is a lie, Santa isn't real, politicians don't really mean what they mean. I was like, the veil has been uncovered. Oh, I was everything. Whatever you're trying to teach a kid in that moment, like that situation, if you're trying to teach a kid nowadays, you could have done like a 4,000 word essay and the kid wouldn't grab it. But like that five digit whack on my butthole, like my butt cheeks, right then I was like, I've uncovered the world. I see what you mean. Like I should read the fine print. Like 7 years old. Like I've got it. Santa isn't real. Yeah, it's you. You've been lying to me all along. And for that moment, you know, I understood that, and even that people were like, "Oh, I can't believe he hit you," but no, I deserved that whooping. You know what I mean? Because I was a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like, "Mum, give me a fucking back." Who the fuck? I'm 6 years old, like talking to my mum like that. Yeah, I deserve the whack in the ass. And then after I got the whack in the ass, I was like, "Okay, man, I understand the world, man. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, there's truths and semi-truths, and there's like some lies or like ways you can tell a story, or you know, like I was like, okay, I get you. Okay, I see it. I see the world now. I'm better for it. But nowadays, and even now, I see kids running around like the supermarket or something. I'm like, I would whip that kid in the ass. That one time, I think people like confuse like a little spanking, just that one spank, just a little whoop. That one time to like abuse, like constant. I hate my life. I'm gonna come in and start hitting my kids. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like that one time, you know, just like, because even then, like when that happened, like that one time, and like my dad's like 5'7", but of course I'm 6, so I'm like 2'3". So, but when that happened, I was like, fuck, man, this guy's the man in the house, and I knew it, man. I was like, shit, man, I can't cross this guy. I can't cross my mum either, because I was around her more because she was at home more. But you learn something from that far more than anything you could ever teach. Because it just goes in, it goes right to the center of your brain, and you're like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? You know that's a moment when your mum takes like a slipper off and she just goes whoomph and like nails you in the forehead, like that kind of shit. That never happened to me. That was like from like Eddie Murphy or something. But I'm just, that never happens. Kids don't have to have that like shock anymore. It's never an idea of just like stop. It's always like, we have to discuss this. How are you feeling? Go down to their level, speak them out, give them a choice. And I'm like, no, they're fucking 4. They don't know the fuck what they're doing. Shut the fuck up, man. Bang. Know the course. You don't obey the course, you're gonna get wanked. And that, as I say, through my whole childhood, I got smacked on the butt, on the bottom, twice, maybe 3 times. And I'm resentful. I look at my mum going, you bitch, you fucking hit me on the butthole. What are you doing? No, of course not. I love my mum to pieces. I've never went, oh, you. And that's, I say, there's a difference between like the occasional little lesson right here, 2, 3, 4 max, and what we're talking about is like abuse, you know, like crossing that line. We need perspective, you know. We've lost this idea of like, why the fuck am I in all, like, I can't imagine, like, okay, you're on a TV show and you're the parent to this like 4-year-old, and it's like, okay, go down, acknowledge the 4-year-old's feelings, and the 4-year-old's like, I love spaghetti, Okay, I acknowledge you love spaghetti, but you know what you did wrong there. I love spaghetti. Yeah, okay, yep, I know that, but can you understand? Shut the fuck. Smack that motherfucker. Let's move on.